Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Classic Movie Buffet Theater. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Thank you for the past views that I've gotten for the subscribers. Thank you all so much. It's all greatly appreciated, as I've always said. Um, so going into this week, I didn't have, like I said in the last video, I had some technical difficulties on Sunday, so I didn't have the Supernatural video on Sunday. So that will be coming out this Sunday, and we'll start season 6 of Supernatural. So stay tuned for that. Now, Saturday on Mikey's Saturday Nightmares, that will be the last intro that I'm going to show you that you'll be able to vote on. There was only 3 of them. Saturday will be the final one, and then the voting will start after that. I will let you know when you can vote on that to figure out which one we're going to stick with. So stay tuned for that. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk about a movie from 1992. I do believe it came out on October 9th of 1992, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And it's a movie that was directed by Andrew Davis. Now, Andrew Davis has done some pretty good has done some pretty good action films, uh, and some dramas, So Andrew Davis has directed such films as The Guardian. Now that's the one with Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner. Excellent film. Excellent film. He also directed The Fugitive with the great Harrison Ford. And he also directed one of my favorites, Code of Silence, with the great Chuck Norris. And this film is called Under Siege. Now, this was a Steven Seagal action film, and he plays the character of Casey Ryback in this film. Casey Ryback. And he has also played in such films as Above the Law, which that was his debut film, I do believe. And it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was really good. He also played in such films as Fire Down Below, which was also a decent film. Had Randy Travis in a cameo in there. And Travis Tritt. And he also played in On Deadly Ground with the great Michael Caine. That was a good movie too, I thought. And he also played in Out for Justice. Now, Out for Justice, I mentioned it in my Hard Target review on the a few weeks ago on Classic Movie Buffet Theater. That's with Steven Seagal and William Forsythe in that film. The film also stars the great Gary Busey, who plays Commander Creel in this movie. And he has also played in such films as Point Break with Keanu Reeves. Also played in the film Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. He also played in a TV movie called Chrome Soldiers, and that was with Yaphet Kotto from Alien, where they played a biker gang. That was a pretty good movie, too. It was a pretty good TV movie. And he also played in another TV film called Hider in the House. Now, if you have not seen Hider in the House, it's Gary Busey and Mimi Rogers, that is a fantastic TV movie. He plays Psycho very well, as we've seen before. The film also stars the great Tommy Lee Jones, who plays William Stranix. And he's also played in such films as Batman Forever, the comedy Man of the House, the sequel to The Fugitive, the U.S. Marshals movie. And he also played in, he used his voice. He voiced the character of Chip Hazard in Small Soldiers. Now, a lot of people didn't like Batman Forever, and I don't think that that's totally Tommy Lee Jones's fault. uh, I like Tommy Lee Jones as Two Face in that film. I really did. Him and Jim Carrey as the Riddler, over the top, over the top. To me, they kind of held that movie together for what it was. It wasn't the greatest Batman film, but they were fantastic in it, or so I thought. I thought they were. I thought they were fantastic in that film, but they were probably the only ones. To be honest, to be honest. Now, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the trailer for 1992's Under Siege. Here we go.
It was the final voyage of America's mightiest battleship.
What's on this helicopter?
This little sweetheart, Miss July 89.
God, I love this business.
I love you.
The party was wild.
Love you to death.
They really knocked them dead. Imagine this arsenal of tactical nuclear weapons falling into the wrong hands. The Pentagon never did.
4 minutes ahead of schedule. Damn, I'm good.
Now, a team of terrorists have taken over.
Wake up the president.
But there's just one thing they didn't count on. The cook.
Are you like some special forces guy or something?
No, I'm just a cook.
Oh my God, we're gonna die.
This is not the work of a cook.
I want you to coordinate your efforts with us.
Yes, sir.
I see that you completely disobeyed my orders.
Roger that. Ryback is an ex-SEAL. Expert in martial arts. Explosives.
Stand fast!
Weapons and tactics. I also cook.
The Nimitz is tracking 2 Tomahawks just launched from the Missouri.
Where are they headed?
Honolulu.
Happy trails.
Steven Seagal.
I know you, don't I?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Been a long time.
I'll see you in hell, sailor boy!
Under Siege.
All right, that was a trailer for Under Siege by Andrew Davis with Steven Seagal, Gary Busey, and Tommy Lee Jones. This was a fantastic action film. It was probably one of Steven Seagal's best films, in my opinion. It's pretty much action from start to finish. It was very well directed. The fight scenes and action sequences were very well choreographed. And Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey were 2 of the most over-the-top villains in this film. They were fantastic. They were fantastic. And like I said, this was easily one of his best films and easily one of my favorites that I will continue to watch to this day. The sequel, Dark Territory, it was okay. It wasn't as good as Under Siege by any means, but it was a decent flick. It was decent. So the estimated budget for this movie was $30 million, and it grossed worldwide $156,563,139. So yeah, it was a big film. It was a big film. In the opening scene of this film, the ship at sea is the actual Missouri, the USS Missouri, because it hadn't been decommissioned at the time of filming that scene. After that, all shots of the interior and exterior were filmed on the USS Alabama. I didn't know that. Okay, so 9 of the actors that were in this film, including Tommy Lee Jones, returned a year later to appear in the film The Fugitive, also directed by Andrew Davis. Like I said, that is a fantastic film as well. And the sequel, U.S. Marshals, is fantastic as well. Now I don't know if I can't remember if U.S. Marshals was directed by Andrew Davis or not, but I know The Fugitive was. At the time, this film was a huge hit in video rental shops on VHS tape. However, the stores had to continually replace their copies as Erica Elanica's striptease sequence in the film was frequently worn out because it was frequently worn out because it was constantly being rewinded and rewatched over and over.
They got me paying taxes.
So, yes, she was hot. She was very hot. But, they wore they wore the film out because they kept rewinding that one scene just to watch the striptease sequence. Okay, come on, folks. Oh, okay. There were 100 bad guys killed in this film. At the time of its release, this was the highest grossing movie not to have been pre-screened by critics. Okay. Oh, this is something I found unique about this film. Stranix's ramblings about a shrimp coming to save a lobster from a Swedish chef are a reference to The Muppet Show, Season 2, Episode 9 with Madeline Kahn. I didn't know that either. Which aired September 30th of 1977. So like I said, there's a scene in the movie at some point. I think it's either at the middle or almost right at the end, where he talks about a shrimp coming to save a lobster from a Swedish chef in his ramblings about, what's going on. And it came from the Muppet Show. That's cool. That's cool. Steven Seagal did not have his signature ponytail in this film because the Navy doesn't allow hair over 4 inches long. I don't know if that's changed any over the years, but back in 1992, that's the way it was. You couldn't have hair any longer than 4 inches, or it was considered too long and you had to cut it to about 4 inches or less. So that's pretty cool stuff there. Some pretty cool stuff here. That was interesting. Okay, this was, let's see, like I said, it was the highest grossing movie that was not viewed by critics or pre-screened by critics. A lot of times the critics will get in and they'll get a pre-screening so they can give their thoughts on the film, and sometimes they'll use it in the tagline when they show it on TV for the trailers and stuff. So this one didn't get that chance, but it was a high grossing film nonetheless. It depends. Like I've always said, if you get good actors together, like Tommy Lee Jones, like Gary Busey, to play villains, the villains will hold the movie together pretty much most of the time, depending on storyline, that kind of thing, direction. Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey are excellent bad guys. There's so many excellent bad guys. I mean, Christopher Walken is an excellent bad guy. He can change his tone from, 0 to 1 second if he wanted to. This was a great film. Like I said, it will forever be in my routine. If I ever get to the point to where I can't find anything to watch on TV, 9 times out of 10, I will either dig out a horror film or it'll be Under Siege. I thoroughly enjoy this Steven Seagal flick. And there's a lot of other ones that I like too. I like Steven Seagal. There's, Jean-Claude Van Damme, of course, Hard Target's one of my favorite films. And I like Mission of Justice, which I haven't reviewed that yet, which I do need to try to do that one. With Jeff Wincott. That's a good action flick, if you don't need something to watch. And then, of course, there's Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos, which that'll be coming to the channel soon. I don't know when, but I will discuss that one. That's one of my favorite action films. But there's several that I'll dig out, but most of the time, one of them will be Under Siege. to me, the earlier films of Steven Seagal were the best ones. Some of the newer stuff that he come out with is kind of hit or miss with me. I haven't really watched a lot of the newer stuff that he's had come out. But I mean, you got I will always watch Under Siege, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, On Deadly Ground, Fire Down Below. You know, Above the Law is like I said is a good Steven Seagal flick because it was his debut film. It was really good. It had Henry Silva was the bad guy in that one, I believe. So there's a lot there, but his newer stuff is just kind of fell flat with me. Uh, so I'll always go back and watch the classics of his and of Van Damme. Van Damme has had a couple of good ones come out in later years that went straight to DVD. Um, The Shepherd being one of those. That was a decent flick. Uh, I think there was one called the Hardcore. I think I like that one pretty good. So most of the stuff now is just hit or miss, but the earlier stuff is always the best to me. So we're going to end the video here with that. Like I said, today's Thursday. It's Classic Movie Buffet Theater Day. Saturday will be Mikey's Saturday Nightmares, where we'll talk about another great horror film from back in the day. And then Sunday will be we will start season 6 of Supernatural. So stay tuned for those. Please come and join us if you can. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye-bye.